Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom podcast. Today, we continue our coverage of the third and final season of Star Wars The Bad Batch. Today is Season 3, Episode 14, titled Flash Strike. I'm Colton Robertson. I am joined by Joseph George. What is up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
And it is always a pleasure to have you. So we're here nice and early, recording 7:30 Wednesday morning. Fresh off the episode. How you feeling? Pretty easy one, pretty simple one.
Yeah, for a penultimate, I'm not gonna lie. I might have expected a little bit more. But if it is just purely the setup for what we're expecting to happen on Tantus in the finale, I guess it makes sense. If things need to just whenever it goes down, it's going down, So I guess, I thought we get a little bit more. There's some cool additions, I think that this episode gave us, but mainly just kind of not. I mean, they're there. They're on the planet of Tantus, but they're not in the base. So I don't know. It still feels like we're in the waiting stages, still right now, and I don't know what more has to happen on the clone side. There was no urgency to kind of send out coordinates like we said. Their ship got shot down, and they had to leave, so that wasn't really a possibility.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's on the batch. I don't think they're gonna have backup.
Really, you think it's? I mean, and honestly, Omega seems to be she knows that they're there. She's like, my brothers have found me. They're here. That was really cool and really like a cute moment.
That was a great moment. Yeah, I love that.
And so, but I don't know what a Zillo Beast does. I don't know what that what does that give Omega? I guess if she destroys that little sentry blaster thing that's keeping the Zillo Beast under control right now, lets it go crazy.
That's got to be the plan. I don't think there's any other idea here.
Okay, so my only
I don't
other
think
thought,
she's like, I'm gonna vibe with the Zillo Beast and ride her on out.
Does she vibe though? Is this her Force moment? Is this the first? I mean, a connection with an animal is usually pretty late. I don't know, ish in the Force game. It's usually not a first moment, but I could see it. I could see maybe not like a she is sitting down and trying to use the Force, but just kind of like a help, like we need help, and then the Zillo Beast understands. Maybe we get a shot of its eye or something like that. Like it understands that Omega was the one to save her. I don't know. Something happens there, and
I mean, I could see that. I could see that for sure. I would love if that was kind of what they were going to go for. I think that it's more than likely the Zillo Beast is just a giant fucking problem. Distraction for their escape.
Yeah.
Now that could be because she goes like, "Hey, cause a big fucking distraction."
She could get it mad on purpose, I guess.
Yeah.
Could let it out and be like, "Okay, what's is it just big and strong?" I know its armor is like lights, it's impenetrable to lightsabers and stuff, but did it have any
it's force sensitive?
Okay. So it can just.
I don't think it can use the Force. It knows what has the Force, though. Like, if you remember when the Zillo Beast was let loose on Coruscant, that motherfucker immediately gunned it for Emperor Palpatine.
That's true. Okay, I forgot about that. It
feels and has a negative response to the dark side of the Force, which indicates that it has some sort of connection to the light side of the Force, which is cool. At least that's how I've interpreted it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been confirmed other places or in
It did
ancillary
really
media.
gun it for Palpatine, though.
No,
You're
yeah,
right.
that's who
like,
for. Yeah.
Because Obi-Wan and Anakin were there, right? And like Mace, maybe even Mace was there.
It was on Coruscant.
Yeah,
there's
like,
a ton of
it
Force
was
sensitive
on
beings
Coruscant. I guess
on Coruscant.
I remember the planet, or the planet, like it was on a different planet at
and
one point. Right?
yes,
In,
and
like,
they
a
transported
canyon,
it. Yeah,
like
they transported it to Coruscant, trying to study it because of that armor, because of all that stuff, and it woke up on Coruscant and
That's right. And
fucked
yeah,
some shit up.
Godzilla kind of moment.
mhm.
Did it have any Godzilla, like it can't shoot like a laser out of its mouth. It's just big and strong,
There's
right? Or
you are recalling something that has happened in the Bad Batch. It is not a Zillo Beast. It was something with a
mecha.
similar, yeah. It was like a similar structure, but it was constructed,
That's
and it
right.
looked like the stuff on Zepho from Jedi Fallen Order and
Yes,
stuff
yes.
like that.
Okay, I am mixing some things, but okay, Zillo Beast. Okay, so for right now, what we know, big light side guy, and if guess who's showing up though? I'm pretty sure Palpatine's showing up. At least Palpatine, like the festival, right? Was that or something like? There was the scientific cargo ship that was arriving, but then Hemlock, or a soldier, came up to him and was like, "Hey, yo, the scientific like something. I think was it the I
Some
forgot the
sort of
word. I think
fair, some sort of summit.
it was like a festival. I think it was like a like we have got what we need. Like let's celebrate. And
I didn't clock that this week.
I think it was. Ooh, I don't know why that seemed. I seem to recall a difference between the shuttle that was incoming and a later party.
A shuttle that has not arrived yet.
Like that is on schedule.
I mean, like I might not have paid attention to that because I was so focused on the batch arriving and how they were going to handle that. But yeah, that does seem important.
I think it was said. I think so. And if Palpatine does arrive and this thing is let free, and it just senses Palpatine, does it just tear through the entire base to get to him? Or like
yeah.
whenever on it, you're saying on Coruscant, it just beelined for Palpatine, or like was
Pretty
it just
much.
on a destruction path, or it knew like its end goal was Palpatine, sort of thing?
I don't think it's ever been 100% surefire. Like the episode does a lot to indicate that it's going for Palpatine. There's some visual cues. There's like a moment of realization on Palpatine's part, if I recall correctly.
Like a flat, like it shows the Zillo Beast's face, and then maybe it Palpatine, and then like it does it do a little.
I don't remember that specifically. I watched the show 4 years
Yeah,
ago.
I know. It has been a
um,
while, huh?
That's why I'm like, I know that happened. I don't know the context. I'm like, I don't remember if it was like it just woke up and ran for the fucking Senate building. It had to like jump around on buildings and shit. Like that was the whole fucking thing. I remember that, but
Okay.
It went to the Senate building. Now I don't know if that indicates. I'm pretty sure it's about Palpatine. If I recall
makes
correctly,
sense.
the episode makes it pretty clear.
Okay.
But
it is interesting that because Omega, whenever she went up the elevator shaft thing, she was following where the blood was going, right? Like, is that did I get that right? Like, it kind of seemed that the turn she took, she was waiting to see where it was going, and so does that mean that her blood and all of these vitals and everything, they're being sent to the Zillo Beast, or is this just kind of
I don't
it's all
think she
collected?
made it to the final location.
Ah, okay.
I
This
think
was a
she
stop
saw
along the
that
way.
on her way and was like, "Oh, cool, I've got my way out." You know,
Okay.
like doesn't matter where all this blood's heading. This
Okay.
thing's gonna help us. You know, like I think
True.
is kind of how she looked at it. At least that's how it was in my head, because it looked like it zoomed past while she was looking at it.
Yeah. I feel
if
like
I recall, maybe I'm misremembering that.
No,
but
I feel like
in
you're
my head, I
right.
could see it.
We would have seen like where it stops. You know, we would have
Yeah.
seen it come to like a stop.
If that is
and
where
then-
it is, yeah.
and-
But this whole little rail function just satisfied me so intensely. When I know that if I was a kid watching this, I would have been like obsessed with this part for no fucking reason.
Just to climb something that's
just to climb and the imagery of like
the
the shiny thing in the dark place, like being all like I don't know what it was,
why
but it
is
just
that
like
nice? Yeah, that
it's
is
so
just like a
satisfying.
childish thing.
I'm just like
that
when
is.
I know that because I can't. I feel like there's something that's tickling my fancy from like the Incredibles for some reason. There's something there that matches
When
that.
they
But
infiltrated
the
the
monorail,
island.
yeah,
And they
the
had
little yeah,
100%. Okay.
like all that sort of shit, like just really satisfied me when I was a kid. So I know that if I was a kid watching this today, that would have been like, oh, and I like watching it now. That's what I got a kick out of is that I was like, oh man, when I was 8, I would have fucking ate this up.
Even cooler that it's like only a little kid could fit in there. Like an adult wouldn't be able to do this right now, but like a kid, it's like perfect for a kid, and maybe that's like even more. And the little rebellion she started in there, like the little like, and it's so cute that like she's like, hey, just cover for me if like the droid comes in, and they're like, what does that mean? They're like, why? Like cover? What is that? And they're like, oh,
my
tummy
hurts.
They did their best,
They did.
Hey, they're doing great.
I'm still hungry.
Yeah, can I go next?
Yeah,
man, what a
they're trying their best, man.
The science lady, man, just like giving them nothing, absolutely
no
nothing
quarter
at all. Yeah,
yeah,
this is Emery. I have said like before that Omega and Emery. It's like Emery is the Omega that has stayed in the Empire her whole life, but then this other science lady is like even a step further. It's like remove all of the emotion from Emery and just have Empire science lady.
Is this Empire science lady a clone?
Probably.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Is
about
probably
that.
not actually.
Oh. Red glasses for Emery. Does anyone else have red? I just had that thought right now because I know like a dude walked in with like some white greenish.
The one who was like taking in the stormtroopers when they were getting off the shuttle looked like Emery a lot, but with like bright red hair. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if that was, and I don't know. I might be tripping on that. But if this person is a clone, it like I kind of viewed it as Emery has that soft spot because she is a clone, so she knows what it is for her people to be experimented on and stuff like that. And it seemed like this science lady like chose this, like this is what she wants to be doing. And her complete carelessness for the kids actually ends up benefiting them in a major way, because they are not subtle. Whenever Omega goes to her room and they're all like looking up at her like,
can you take a little? Yeah, I mean, they were like all of them are asking questions on the same, instance. It's like out of nowhere. It's like, huh, that's very strange. And
all of them don't feel good. All of but like even before that, whenever Omega goes back to her little cell and they're all in the middle of the room and they're all just like looking up at the chick in the window, like
nothing's going on. I promise.
They'd all look up in unison and then they'd all look away and talk to each other and then they'd all look up and I'm like, thank God she doesn't give a fuck about them.
Yeah, this is just real sad. And I once believed that there was a lot more children than this. And there was a line between Emery and Echo that I don't know. She said like, we have to get the children out of here. And then Echo was like, wait, excuse me, hold on, wait a second.
Children?
And then she was like, yeah, the clones are not the only prisoners on this base. I don't know, I guess there was no indication. She says
Omega's not the only child here.
That's true.
What she said.
Yeah. So indication of just more than Omega, which could just be the group we see. There's no way they like introduce like, here's a whole cell block full of children next step. Is that like
no, I doubt it. I mean,
but like They have a Zillow Beast, which makes me think if they have a Zillow Beast, they have everything in between. They have like, if they can keep a Zillow Beast under wraps and they can keep it under control now, they have everything below. They need one specimen. I feel like it's like a Noah's Ark, but evil. It's like they have
Right.
like a male and a female of everything, or maybe just one of everything, and they need the DNA from each thing, and that so they can just, I don't know, have a living source of everything. And I didn't realize how many Tantuses there are. Like, was it apparent before, or like was this the first kind of time where there was wide shots of Tantus and like the main hub? Like there's like 4 or 5 of those, right? Like in the mountains, like
I
there's like
didn't I didn't clock that. I didn't catch
there's
that.
there's definitely 2. Like there's the main like pyramid. I thought it was one. I thought there was one and that was it, and then all the rest were kind of like natural around
Mhm.
it. There is one, and then there is a whole like same size right next to it. Like I mean, duplicate. And then there's like 3 behind it that could just be natural. It doesn't have like the break in the middle like the rest do,
Yeah, the ridge.
but like I don't know. There might be way way more kind of going on there than I once thought. I've never seen that many. I thought there was only one and that was it. But I mean, they pulled back often, like many times, and there was like, hey, like I don't know. I think they were making it a point to be like,
That's funny cuz I didn't catch it.
hmm,
Um
yeah. I mean, there's 100% 2 of them. I know that for sure. The
mhm.
other ones that are in the background, I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
cuz I mean like these are natural formations that they're just building into. Um they're not building them up. I don't think. I think that these are
yeah, it's probably a mountain they drill like on the inside and
mhm.
and and,
Yeah,
and do all that. But
build a whole structure inside of.
yeah, I mean, I there I feel like Echo has made it clear we're here to free all the clones, and then now Emery and Omega is we're gonna free the children. We're freeing all any prisoner that is here, and I think the creatures will become enveloped in that. I think they'll realize like the Zilla Beast, all of these, Batcher's family, all of the creatures are also prisoners, and they're being subject to the same experiments and everything,
Mm,
and that they'll want to free them too, or it'll just be they'll use them as like the chaos,
mm-hmm. I could
as
see that.
maybe they're just the chaos.
Yeah, I mean it'll
Um,
be Omega. Omega will be like, we need to free every creature
mm-hmm.
here. You know, I think that'll be more because I mean, like, what'd she do for Batcher earlier in the show? And she saw how they were treated, and now she knows there's a Zillo Beast there. And if they have whatever the fuck Batcher is, and they have a Zillo Beast, like you said, they must have a little bit of everything in between.
Right?
We got a cool new creature this time. Big ass fucking bear cougar sort of hybrid thing that's
Thing.
fucking gigantic.
Mm-hmm. Did it
That was
remind
dope.
you of anything?
Like within Star Wars,
Mm-hmm. Animation as well.
not particularly. No, not off the top of my
Episode
head.
1 of Tales of the Jedi. Much smaller version, but in
Oh yeah,
Ahsoka,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
like
I can see that.
saber-toothed
Yeah,
tiger, it
yeah.
has the same exact yellow tip fur kind of thing. It has the same fur pattern. And this could just be animation and it's a growl in a roar. They sound exactly the same. It's almost like they use the same exact sound bite.
Hmm.
Like I played them back to back and it's like the growl is exactly the same. And the only thing it could just be they're reusing some assets. It's a growl. It's whatever. It's not like a direct link. But my thought is like they captured that animal, they souped it up, gave it some crazy Frankenstein-like DNA, and this is what it's become now.
Right.
Like it is. So
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I think it's clear that I don't think it's clear necessarily, but I do think this is the product of some sort of experimentation. I don't think
okay,
this is like
not a natural being on that just is because
I
it could
mean,
be. We're in
it
Star
could
Wars
be.
and
Yeah,
like
I mean, like it, and it's also like they keep saying that the creatures in the jungle outside of Tantus are deadly, but we've seen that they've created those beasts every once like back on the first planet in episode 2 where they had like the vine tentacle monster things,
mm-hmm.
like that wasn't naturally occurring. So it's like it's hard to say what is natural and what isn't natural, especially when they look like normal fucking animals. The only thing here was the absurd size that
And
makes it seem
standing up on like 2 feet as well. Like it stood
Mhm.
up and growled. It looked like it was blind as well. I don't know if that's just the color of its eyes
Mm.
or not. Like it kind of, and yeah, I mean, it could just be we're in Star Wars and there's crazy monsters everywhere. But we don't really have, like, it's never really been this much of a threat. Tantus seems to be like, this jungle is specifically full of creatures because it's a DNA lab. Like they're mixing shit up. I think
Mhm.
it's like sometimes they get loose or they have to just let them out. It's like survival of the fittest. Maybe they just make a bunch of shit, let them loose,
Well, and it's also a
whatever lives.
natural. It's natural security, also. Like if anybody wants to come up through the fucking
Yeah,
jungle, like you're
it's
fucked.
sick. Like it's sick and twisted, but like
Oh yeah,
it makes sense. Like just to let them loose, and then the strongest will survive. You take them, you mix them up again, you let them loose, you let the strongest survive. You just, and I like that. If that's like a culmination of the story, is the Empire is trying to force nature, and then the realization is that it just can't be done. Like
right.
that's the wrong. Nature is something that you have to be hands off with, or
Hmm.
mutually exclusive with, not
Yeah,
like a
you're not
parasitical
trying to force it
relationship.
or anything
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I
Um,
get you, and I'm excited for the finale, man. I think that we've got a great setup episode here. It didn't give us much to go on. I mean, just like last week, we knew where we were going, and we know there's one thing to do. And now we're in the same fucking place. It's the thing that sucks for me right now is Emery and Echo's plan doesn't particularly line up with Omega's plan. And I'm worried about how that might affect Echo. Um,
mm, okay. Omega will start to be going up, you know, and maybe Mean Science Lady will be going in to go check on him, but then Emery will get back just in time to be like, "Hey, I'm back. Like I'll check on him. No problem." And then when she goes to check on him, like the kids are still stalling or doing their thing, but then they realize Omega's already escaping, and
mhm.
then maybe that's they jo-
That'd be
they
nice. That'd be
join or
nice.
something.
Yeah.
But I don't know, nice to see Echo have a hand, that's just an option for him.
Right.
I never even thought of that until now. But a cool little team up there, I guess, with Echo and
Hmm.
Emery. Cool little conversation they had.
I loved
Um,
that scene. Whenever Emery immediately clocks that it's Echo, and
yeah,
is like, it's almost like now that she even has a chance, she's down.
it was.
Before it was that she was dwarfed by the size of the enemy, and now even just 4 additional dudes here to help is like, oh,
Is
thank God. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, let's fucking do this shit. Okay. She's
Oh,
clearly been wanting to do something about the children, but was quote just
I'm
doing her
doing my
job.
job. Yeah,
Um,
he's like, I've heard that before. Like you're a clone. How could you be part of this? And she was just like, damn. And it's like,
Damn.
and it is a weird blame game. Like it's like obviously the Empire is to blame, and like, but Emery, like, what could she do? Like it's like there's it seemed impossible until now.
Hmm. Yeah.
And but it's good to see her come around. And have, I guess we still have the other trooper, or I guess, do they stay on Tantus? Um, uh,
Wolf.
Yes.
I don't think
Yeah.
he stays on Tantus. I think if he
Oh,
stayed on Tantus, he'd know about what was going on Tantus and would be morally appalled by it.
damn. Yeah.
Um,
So is that really
not,
not going to be involved?
I don't think it will be. I mean, like, unless one of the things Echo did was like secretly send out the coordinates somehow. I mean,
I
like, I
guess
feel like,
he's been doing some shit.
yeah.
What has he been doing?
Well, they
Well,
make it pretty clear
he's
both
searching
times.
for
First
Omega.
time he's looking for the way to find Omega. He finds like a lab or he finds like a center of information. He gets to the center of information. He finds Omega, and then Emery walks in, and that's like. So we do watch him do something on the ship at the very beginning of the episode. Maybe that's what he's doing there.
Hmm.
However, transmissions we've also learned are trackable. They know when transmissions are being sent, and I feel like that would have been like, so there's a transmission coming from da 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 da. It's being sent out, and I don't know, but maybe not. Maybe it could just slide by.
And Hemlock knew fucking exactly what went down as well. That was they. I guess they left a planet. The Empire. They were fighting with Empire. So it's clear the message was just relayed. It's not like Hemlock has some other crazy shit
No,
that we don't
yeah,
know
it
about.
just
It's just
found its way to
they
them.
just knew. So I mean that's nothing crazy. Yeah, nothing like man. How is Wolf gonna like that kind of? Maybe they get into the yeah. I don't know. Maybe it is kind of like a we're fucked. Hey, here's some coordinates. If you can help, come here. And then it looks at first. It's kind of like a Rise of Skywalker, and it looks at first no one's coming, but then all
The
the clone.
cavalry has. Well, now the cavalry has arrived means the Bad Batch.
Well, they've already arrived.
Not in Tantus.
Okay.
See, I'm like, that's my thing. I'm like, now, if we're going to the simplest explanation, now the cavalry has arrived means, to me, the Batch. Now, it could also be the Zillo Beast now. It could also be, Imperial Enforcers. It could be Rex and comrades adjacent, but I don't know. We haven't seen anything that indicates to me that their coming is inevitable.
Rampart. What's gonna happen with him? He got captured at the end here. Remember, and Hunter being like, "Hey, remember who saved you. If it
Mm-hmm.
ever goes bad, is he just gonna go right back into his thing? He's in the Empire now, or I guess he could be a prisoner. I don't know how they will treat him, even in the
Oh,
first
I
place.
think they'll treat him as a prisoner. I don't think they'll be like, "You used to work for us. What's up, homie?" No, I
That's
mean like
fair.
he escaped. He escaped from an imperial prison.
He was a prisoner,
Yeah. So
so.
like, but
Mm-hmm.
the thing is too is that like I don't even know what he could rat on. They know the batch is here.
Uh
They know what the batch wants.
it's just do
Omega.
they free
It-
Rampart or not? Maybe is
yeah,
why
it's
he's
like,
there. Is kind of like
mm-hmm,
he is a prisoner, but
mm-hmm. They're not.
do you free him?
They will. Yeah, they will.
Yeah,
Um,
Hunter saving him. The little shooting the
mhm,
cable not detaching.
yeah.
The lines with him and Crosshair scare me. Um, like those lines were very. You're not the one to make the sacrifice play, Tony.
Mhm.
Like it's like you only care about yourself, and it's like yeah, let's see about that. And it's like no, we know. Like he says he's changed. I know he's changed. He's a changed man.
Yeah.
I don't need him to prove it. I
Yeah. That's what really blows is that like I am worried they're gonna do the redemption via sacrifice with Crosshair. I don't want that. Not again. He's already proven that he's a good dude. I'm like, so I don't know. I don't know. I'd really hope that that wouldn't happen, and it didn't seem like it would, and that was the strongest indication that it will play out that way. Um,
Yeah,
so
I didn't like those lines. I did not like and it could be leading us down the wrong path, but I don't know. Um I mean, everyone's kind of on the table. They're at Tantus.
Mm-hmm.
The only clones we know make it out. Rex. What is Wolf? Wolf is with him at the end.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Wolf's
He's on.
there, and Gregor, is that the other one?
Yeah, the one that Echo went and picked up during that episode.
And those are the 3 that are in Rebels.
Yep, those are the 3 that are in Rebels.
Everyone else. Pabu's like not even an is Pabu even an option anymore? It's not like even we don't even have a safe haven anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope they don't all die. Like they're like, and Omega's the only one to make it out.
They won't all die. At least one of them makes it. But that was the only thing that I didn't love about this episode is that I was never worried for any of the batch. Like, I love the episodes where we face off with big creatures. I think those are fun. I'm never worried any of them are actually going to die at the hands of a big creature.
Yeah, it's true. You're right. This is like surprisingly maybe the weakest episode of the season. Like maybe episode 2. Like it's like this in episode 2, and it's like, but this is the penultimate. It
was surprisingly low stakes, which is fine. Like it like next week is the one where they're gonna have to bring the heat for sure. We were putting a lot on it, but I mean, like when we were speculating, roughly what we thought would happen did happen, which was try to infiltrate Tantus. Like we didn't think it would end. We'd end this episode getting off Tantus. Like we knew it would have to be a part 1, part 2 sort of situation. So like I'm cool with it. It's not even weak, but it is. I would say it's on the weaker side of the season for sure. I mean, just a really cut and dry, simple.
And it's, I mean, for a penultimate, usually at the end, the cliffhanger is like like the shit's going.
Something that hasn't been a cliffhanger before.
Like, I guess the Zillo Beast
I'm pretty sure 2 episodes ago ended with Omega going, "I'm going to get us out of here." And it was like the same shot in the same place and all this. So like that was the thing that struck me as I was like, yeah. I'm like I know that though.
Like that's obviously
it's obviously the design here.
Yeah, and so I guess maybe that's where my disappointment comes from a little bit, is just a penultimate episode for any TV show. Just I feel like that's how it works. I mean, this is 15 episodes. It's not like a 10 episode Throne season where that penultimate needs to be like that. But I don't know. I guess they're just gonna have to do a whole lot in the finale. Like it's just, I mean, it is.
And I mean, it's not even like they have to do a whole lot by the standards of any, like, they have to do what we thought they would have to do in the finale. It's not like they left stones unturned here, It's not like the only thing that I thought would be different is that we would see the batch get into Tantus this week. And I'd be willing to bet we start next week and they're basically just there, like sneaking in kind of, but yeah, that's why I'm like, it's ultimately this is an obvious part 1 of 2, and if this was a 14 episode season with a 45-minute to an hour long finale this would be the first half of a really probably strong episode. That's the thing, is that it's the first half of an episode. Okay. It's not a full episode. Which does make the episode lesser, but like I can take some solace knowing that there is a part 2 to it,
this is not there's no way we're ending without like resolving the conflict on Tantus, like something is gonna happen there. And okay. I think I'm curious I'm definitely gonna have to go back just to make sure that I'm right about this festival. For some reason, I feel like that the party,
Yeah, that's
the
interesting. I didn't catch that.
man, that's the only part that I feel, because I feel bad if I am wrong, and then I'm like, yo, I'm putting so much importance on like them for sure showing up. But I feel like it's not like a crazy possibility that like Palpatine shows up in the finale of the Bad Batch, of like Project Necromancer. I don't think it's like,
No, I don't think it's a reach by any stretch. I think that's a fair guess. Um, I'm gonna be excited to see that runtime next week. I opened this one; it said 24 minutes, and I was like, okay,
mm,
okay. Um,
yeah, I guess
I'm
that
like,
that will be telling. Yeah.
if I open it next week and it says 24 again, I'll go, okay. You know, like it's possible. We've watched them do some fantastic episodes in that amount of time, but it's just that they've had 35-minute episodes, so like I'll be hoping for something more along those lines. Um,
I mean, the first episode was an hour and a half. Was it an
it was an hour.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, the first episode was an hour. It's Star Wars is like poetry, they like to do that.
Right. My concern there is that this was very clearly the first part of a two-part episode. I'm like,
shit.
I think that this episode and the next episode will add up to about an hour. So I could see this being on the high 30s, mid 30s in the finale. But I mean, regardless, runtime, I'd prefer a longer runtime simply because I want the story to breathe. And I think that to solve what we have to do on Tantus and do an epilogue, sort of a where do they go after, I think you got to be looking at least 30 minutes, at least 30. So hopefully
Yeah,
we can pull that off. But
we're kind of right. Because I'm going off of like just the grander scope of the show, but as far as this episode,
like
it
what
is
needs to
pretty part
happen?
one, part
Yeah.
two. Like it does feel like this was the first half
Mm-hmm.
of the episode, not like that there is a whole I mean, they could spend an hour at Tantus. I mean, they could, but
No, and I mean like and that's the thing too, is that like I kind of need there to be an epilogue. Star Wars typically has an epilogue. They have a couple minutes of where they go after the conflict is resolved. It's kind of classic Star Wars shit. End of the first movie, we do the victory palace celebration. Everybody gets their
mhm,
medal. Return to the Jedi, we get the
mhm.
return to the Ewok village. We have a party. Let's
Okay.
have some fun.
So it would seem that it would be, let's go back to Pabu and let's put something in the big tower and let's eat and let's be happy. But I think the Empire would have to be destroyed there. Maybe that's the epilogue. Is they escape from Tantus, and then with the force
And
they have there, they just destroy the Empire at Pabu. But then
well,
they
and
still
who
know
knows?
the Empire.
Maybe the Empire. Like maybe I was wrong about my assumption about imperial occupation of Pabu. It could be they
Maybe they
got what they
left.
needed and they just dipped. I doubt it, but it's possible. Um, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like, and that's the thing, is that like when we have those questions, like, is Pabu safe? Is Pabu okay? Last time we saw it, no. Um, that's not
it
exactly
could
how I
be
want to leave
that
it. You
it
know?
could be that unremarkable to them. Like it could just be a rock. I don't know. Like maybe that is how the Empire sees it, but again, that's probably giving them too much credit. Like
Mm-hmm.
it could just be control, and that's literally it. And
Yeah,
that's
that's why
all
I'm
it
like,
takes.
uh, so we do have a lot of questions about a lot of places around the galaxy. Um, and who knows? Maybe we do get a transmission sent out, and it gets to like Thee on Pabu or something, and that's how we see Pabu. Like, because my thing is that the way we last saw Pabu is not the last way we see Pabu. I don't think. It could
Mm-hmm.
be, and if that's the case, that's fine. But it feels unclear. It feels like that place doesn't have a conclusion necessarily when it feels like it earned one.
Say Fee is pretty good. I like the chances of her maybe returning, being like a reinforcement of some sort, maybe, or after
She
the
does
fact.
her whole fucking secret entrance where she just shuts off the
turn.
engines, and
she fucking pulls a tech turn. That'd be sick.
we got a pretty dope-ass fucking maneuver from Hunter this week where he turned the engines off and rotated the ship and fired that.
Ray and Finn. Like, that
was
was nice.
Yeah.
Yes, that was
hard.
Was very nice. Oh, yeah. Man, and beautiful, too. Like,
gorgeous animation.
There was, like, a shot where it just, like, it showed up in the trees and then two, like, interceptors flew over and then it, like, just panned down to the jungle. But, like, the foliage, like, how real it looks. Like, there are, like, almost photo real shots in this now. Like, it's kind of nuts how good animation has gotten. Like, it is like they've almost reached. Rampart reminded me of like a Pixar character as well.
Yeah,
it was very.
Hemlock had a moment like that for me too, where, and I'm sure it was just like lighting and texturing in that particular frame because it was only 1 second that I thought this, but like his forehead looked really flat and it looked like his eyebrows were like just like they were like hovering above his face, not on his face, like, you know, a lot of cartoon characters have. And I know that's not what was going on there, but there was a moment where Hemlock looked just so intensely cartoony to me. And I wonder if that was like, he's like a cartoonish villain. He's just so over the top.
His little hand thing still, that's never come around, you know. That's the only, it's one other thing for him. Could be. But the only other guy that has it is Crosshair. That's the only connection I see, but I don't really see how that makes sense at all. Unless Hemlock is so crazy and just fucked that he injects his DNA into everything. Like,
who kills Hemlock? Probably Crosshair, right?
Emery?
That could be cool.
I'm trying to think of who Crosshair is probably the most satisfying. I was trying to think of anyone else. Because like if it's Hunter or Wrecker, it's like, yeah, it'll feel good, but like Crosshair feels good. Like that's who should.
That's who should kill the guy.
Should do it. Omega like
Omega's dropped
killed,
a couple bodies. They haven't
like,
really acknowledged it.
But not like an execute, you know?
No,
like,
not up close. And they won't do that. Ultimately, they reserve the up close and personal execute. Like,
I feel like Hemlock's death will kind of be an execution. Like, it'll be like a conversation, like what happened right before
I don't think
he dies.
Omega will do it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No way. Like, no way. She's with the gun that Echo gave her, you know, like, fuck you, dude. Boom. Like, dude.
Blows him away. That's what she should have fucking done to Toto 360. But,
maybe we get the death. No, I guess Toto is confirmed. Do we have a confirmed Toto sighting like in the timeline after? Because Cad Bane does show up, but Toto's not there in Book of Boba, right?
No, he's not. Yeah, we do not have a confirmed Toto sighting here.
So Toto could die. You know?
I will rejoice if Toto passes on in the finale. That's low on my expectations list.
Say they kill the Batch, they kill Pabu, they level Pabu. It's just bad. They ruin the show, but then post-credit scene, Toto is shown to die. You know, Toto just has the most brutal death in Star Wars history. Is it?
I'd go like this. Well,
all right, they might have ruined one of my favorite Star Wars shows.
Well, at least there's that. You know, no, I mean it. I expect that this finale. There's been very little about this show to indicate to me that they won't conclude this the way it needs to be concluded. Mm-hmm. I feel like what's been made clear about Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rao and the team writing this show is that they get it better than any of us fans possibly could. You know, like they always end up doing something that no matter how much we anticipate something or how much we expect it to go one way, it might go that way, but it's always with a hitch. It's always with something that you did not anticipate. And it's like I'm yet to be dissatisfied with the choice they made in terms of writing. I feel like it's been like, and the choices that at one point I might have been dissatisfied with have come back around in a way that have become satisfying. Like I remember at the end of season 1 with the unclarity of Crosshair's inhibitor chip, and if I was like, man, it would really suck if he does not have his inhibitor chip, or if he doesn't have his inhibitor chip and he's chose this, or if he does and he's being lied to, and all that stuff. So like that's come back around and become very satisfying, you know. So like the other thing too is that like I know the Bad Batch is ending. I have little to no faith they're not doing another sequel series.
Like, right, just timeline-wise, like it won't be the Bad Batch, but
it'd probably be like
Omega will carry over, you know? Like
it's possible, but I was thinking it would probably be like the Wolf Pack or something, and it's Wolf, Rex, Gregor, like something like that. They continue to, because I mean, as much as I want this animation, Lucasfilm animation, to carry on, they seem very attached to this story, and this storyline with the clones and stuff. And as much as I'm looking forward to hopefully a freedom of the clones from Tantus, it doesn't feel like a conclusion of the clones' story. The clones at large, you know, like they might liberate them on Tantus, but there's still clones everywhere. And I don't know if that means they're going to, like, can you end a story like that? Can you liberate every clone on screen and make it satisfying and it not just be repetitive of them going planet to planet, freeing people, and like that'd be cool. It'd be fun to watch, but there is the question of whether or not it would continuously be of the highest order of quality. And that's why I'm like, I could see them doing another little sequel series after this.
I like that. I like the Wolf Pack, or the Echo's already taken. Sorry, Echo. Marvel got that one first. You can't have your own show. But I could see it be like, it could be repetitive, them going from place to place, but maybe the thing that keeps it interesting is whatever scientifically is happening, like on Tantus. Maybe clones are special, they're being used all over.
No, and that's why I'm like, I don't know. It could be anything, you know. One of my like, I just, it's hard to believe. I'd be fine if this was the conclusion of these characters. We never see them again. That's cool. It's not really Star Wars' bag, though. No. So, I mean, like, the other character that I anticipate we see in the future post Bad Batch is Omega. Feels like an inevitability. She's a child now. She has a whole life ahead of her. Maybe it is in a New Republic era Mando timeline sort of thing. She's a grown woman. You know, that could be interesting.
Could she be anyone we know? Like, is there a possibility that she is someone?
No.
Like, already? Like,
I doubt it. I don't even know who that would be, you know.
The only person that popped in my head was the armorer, just because she has a helmet on, you know, and like we have never seen her face, and I don't even know if the timeline works there, if she'd be too young, or
I think she would, because
even lines up,
the armorer talks about having watched the destruction of Mandalore.
Yeah, like I didn't think it really was her, but like, yeah, no, I feel like there's no way that's really a thing.
No, that's why I'm like, it'll be interesting. And in fact, I invite this being the last time we see these characters, in terms of just, if this story wraps up neatly and everyone's story is complete, why bring any of them back? You know, it's not a popular enough show to be like, well, if we bring them back, it's guaranteed views, you know, like, it's like, because that's usually the motivation for those stuff.
You see how far, like, on the homepage, like on the top, Like, you know how it just has the featured on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Here you go.
It wasn't on mine.
Dude, no, you just have to, like, you went all the way to the end and it wasn't
I
even
went
on there?
all the way to the end. It was not on mine.
It's there, but it's like the third to last one, or like the
Yeah.
second to last every time. It used to be like the first, or
Mhm.
like the second, and
Well,
now
the
it's like,
Hulu merger happened, and
that's true.
now they have all the Hulu shit too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like it's one of 2 ongoing Disney Plus series though.
X-Men 97 and
this and X-Men 97's there.
yeah,
you know,
it was like first or second, like. So
The only logic that I could even begin to defend it with is that it's the second to last episode.
season.
If
3
we're
of
watching the Bad Batch, we're in it. You know, we
Yeah.
know where we're going. So like the only thing that it's inconvenient for is an easy fucking place to click on it and start going.
That's true.
But I
That
mean,
is-
regardless, like they should be doing like the Star Wars Twitter account is already the Acolyte themed. It moved on from the Bad Batch already, and it did weeks ago. Like it's just kind of like man, like
Damn,
give them some love, bro. But
we're
yeah,
about to say
I mean-
goodbye next week, man. Or maybe, who knows what even is going to happen next week? But
yeah, man,
at least
I don't know.
the Bad Batch show is ending. You know, at
Mhm.
least their titular show will end. And
Dem boys.
oh my god, well, I think my creature itch was satisfied. A Beast will do it for me, I think.
Satiated.
Yeah, and the only other thing that'll do it for me even more is if they got a Mythosaur in there chilling as well. I don't know how. Seems that there's only probably there's not many of those things left, but there's
Right.
not many Beasts either, is what seems. So
Seems, yeah.
I'm not hoping out. I don't need it to happen, but
But that would help.
I'm getting greedy. I should stop at the Beast. It's a Beast.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal there.
But
yeah, man, I don't know. I love the episode. It was simple. It was effective. Great setup for this finale, and I'm hoping the finale really follows through. But yeah, with that, I think we can conclude this episode. I'll do the plugs, and after the plugs, it's time for the album of the week.
Oh, yes. Okay.
But yeah, if you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content. All sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and early access content. All of that for the low, low price of $1.50 a month. Now, that money goes straight back into this podcast, helping me put it on, because it costs me money, and I don't make any off of it unless it is over there. Head to Twitter. Follow at PennyBloomPod. Follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening. And follow on TikTok if you still have the opportunity to while you still can. Go ahead and do that. You can also watch on YouTube. Just look up Penny Bloom Podcast. We are there, baby. We are there. You can watch us. You can view us. I've got the Hunter headband on. I got the tech shirt rocking on right now. It's all good. We got the Last Jedi vinyl on display. I got the Batch and Funko Pops, the Star Wars books. It's the whole thing, man.
Got the boy. I got
Thrawn.
a boy here. Yeah.
How deep are you into that book now?
Barely. I think third chapter. No, now I'm going in. It was I only got there whenever I was at my sister's house watching. I haven't read any
Gotcha.
here, so now I'm trying to lock in. But
I'm reading it as well. I think I'm on chapter. I think I just finished chapter 4 though. Because I'm not reading it. I'm listening to it. But yeah, Thrawn, baby. Maybe some miniature book club reports every once in a while on Patreon or something. But yeah, go ahead and download the episode and do me a favor. Share with one person. If you liked the show, tell one person you liked the show. Just one little guy. One little guy. One little dude. You know, just tell somebody. We're here. We're here to discuss things we really like to talk about. And you're welcome to listen. We appreciate it greatly. But yeah, let's do some album of the week. Music of the week. Would you like to do the honors and go first, or would you like me to take it away?
I have two, but one is one that is very known. It is one of my favorite just albums of all time. The other, I've known of a little bit of it. It's older, and it's newer to me. So I don't know which one you'd prefer. I think I'll get to the other one eventually. I think
I'm going with a pretty deep cut. So, if you want to do a more, I mean, like, if you want to double up on the older but newer to you, like, I'm cool with that, because mine's an older one, but I just discovered it, and I like it a lot.
I think, no, I will go, because I can barely speak on the other one. It was more of a work. I was listening to that album when I was working, and I wasn't focused on it. But I'll save that one maybe for next week.
Gotcha.
But this week, I guess I have it. It's one I have, and it's one that is, so it's boring. I don't know. That's why it's kind of like boring. But I have a story to tell with it, which is why. So
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and grab it.
Yeah.
He's going to go fetch real quick. Yeah, I got a good one this week. I'm excited because I just discovered it last week, and I'm excited to share. What do you got for me, Joe? What do you got for me?
It is my baby. It is Tron Legacy by Daft Punk. It is just the soundtrack. But the only reason this week that it is coming back up is I've a new hobby of mine is just to be outside, and then I've just kind of gone. I just walk or run or just go, and I like to go a little bit further every day, and that's my goal, is just a little bit further every day. And yesterday, I was like, I'm gonna just throw on this album. I put on my headphones, and I just went, and then I realized that the album was completed and over, and I was not home yet. And this is it's an hour and 30 minutes of an album.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm just like, oh my God. Like I realized like how much just music and just like not focusing on your actual task can like because whenever I thought of like how far I was away from home still, and then I'm like, oh wait, my legs, now I'm thinking of my legs, and now I have to return all the way home, and I've listened to this album. I wasn't an hour and 30 minutes away from home. It wasn't like
right.
I needed to double up and then do the same thing again. But it was like, I don't know, it was nice. Just music I know I love. It was nice just to throw it on.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. It was very easy to escape with Tron. So,
I love that. Well, yeah. I think you'll appreciate my recommendation of the week, or my album of the week as well, because I'm going to double up on the wordless, and I know there's words on the Tron Legacy one, but mine's a Japanese jazz fusion album called Cassiopeia by Cassiopeia. That's Casiopea. It's got a little bit of that, one of the songs will certainly remind you of just like, like an anime theme song, basically. But it feels like a lot. There's a lot of different feels over the course of the few tracks it is. I think it's only 8, I believe. Yeah, it's only 8 tracks. I've been listening to it the whole time we've been recording today. I did the same thing yesterday. I went for about a 45-minute to an hour-long walk, and this is what was playing pretty much my entire time. I absolutely adore it. Just one I discovered last week, 1979 album that I dig a great deal. Been trying to get into a little bit more of the jazz, and it led me down the road to jazz fusion, and here I am listening to Cassiopeia. I enjoy it a great deal. If you're looking for something to throw on in the background, hard to beat something like this. So, Cassiopeia and Tron Legacy. How about it?
Those are the last different worlds there. But
those are the last albums of the week of April.
I had to get it in eventually, so I'm like, I might as well do it now. Especially when the other album that I was thinking of showing was a little. I wasn't too confident. I mean, there were some songs I could have said some things, but it didn't feel right yet. But
gotcha.
this I can never go wrong with Tron for me. I know it's not for everybody, but for me, it is. It's just one of those that I throw on all the time. But okay.
Yeah. But yeah, with that, we will conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast, and we'll be back next week with the series finale of The Bad Batch. It all ends next week, and we will be here on May 3rd to discuss it. So very excited. In the meantime, we will be concluding the John Wick franchise next week. We have John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum and Chapter 4 next Monday and Wednesday, and that'll lead us straight into May, where we are just continuing the action movies. We're also beginning our Anya Taylor-Joy spotlight in a couple weeks. Super exciting, super fun time on the Penny Bloom podcast. But yeah, stick with us. And we don't think you'll be disappointed. But I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And always praise the Bad Batch.